Oh man, welcome to a daily cinephile vlog. And just sometimes there's like weird things that kind of happen to you where you really feel like you didn't do something wrong. You really feel like every single step was done correctly. You were there, you were doing it, and then when you get to the final product, something doesn't turn out the way it was supposed to, or there's some mistake, and it kind of always makes you wonder, like, as what is it? As they say in Gremlins. Um, it's Gremlins. Yeah, they chalk it up to Gremlins. When there's issues with the tractor, he says, "Oh, those are those little Gremlins in there wrecking havoc." And then later in the movie, there's actual Gremlins with uh, Mogwai and Gizmo and Stripe and all those other Gremlins. So and they end up being real. But sometimes I feel like there's real Gremlins out there uh, with computer issues, other weird glitches in the Matrix. I guess that's another term for it, glitches in the Matrix. But I certainly have been having that lately, where there's just been certain things that I'm pretty sure I did that, pretty sure I made that change, pretty sure I did that correctly, and then I go look at some final finishing touches or final edits or renders or even just simple tasks, and I find out something was horribly screwed up. And it really messes with you because it makes you start kind of questioning, well, how do I fix this? How do I approach this differently in the future? How do I not screw this up? But sometimes there's not an answer, especially if you really feel like, it wasn't something that you did wrong. If you can't pinpoint what exactly you did wrong, it makes it even tougher to correct anything that is supposedly a problem. I had this issue recently when I was working on my garage. There's the springs on the garage for the garage door. And there's two springs, and recently one of them broke. I actually worked with my dad to replace it. It was the one on the left side, but when you're looking at it from inside the garage, it's on the left side, but it's actually the right wound spring. It's kind of backwards, but basically, the left side is the right wound spring, and then the right side is the left wound spring. Simple enough, right? Well, it's weird because um, we fixed that one, but then now it's only been a couple weeks later, and now the other one that had been on the garage door, the one that we didn't need to replace, well, that one broke too. I decided to approach it myself rather than asking my dad to come by again. I was like, you know what? I think I figured out how you did it last time. I feel pretty confident. I think I'll just give it a try, replace it myself. Uh, I did the video research. I watched a tutorial. I had done it before, but it's been a couple weeks, so I just watched a tutorial, how to do it step by step. I bought the one tool that I would need to do it. And then I also bought the spring, which was a left wound spring because it was the right side that it broke. Before, the left side one had broke, which is the right wound spring. Again, it's so backwards. But I did the research I had to, and I read the diagram that they have available at Menards. So I bought the left wound spring to replace the spring that's on the right side. Started taking it apart, took the springs apart. It's kind of dangerous. You gotta like wind it up, and when you loosen the spring, you also have to like wind it down kind of slowly. There's these like bars that you stick in there to twist it. Otherwise, if you just unscrew it, the thing just goes, it unwinds itself like in really quick, rapid motion, and it can be dangerous. I mean, especially if you get your arm caught in there, it's like it could be a dangerous project. So you gotta be careful. But anyway, I did all that to loosen it up, took the springs apart, removed the broken one, and I was putting in the next one, the new one, to put it together. And that was a simple enough task. Really wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. I know I had done it before, but just like I said, I was kind of tackling this on my own and never have before, and I felt good about it as things were moving along. But then when I was putting the springs together, they weren't matching up correctly, and I couldn't really figure out why. The main problem was the spring seemed like it was kind of bent to the point where I couldn't get the nut to fit in to, connect it to the other spring. So that was a problem. And I didn't really know exactly what I was doing wrong. I didn't know if it was supposed to be built this way. It didn't seem like it was correct. And it was really screwing me up because then I took it and I kind of compared it to the previous spring, the one that had broke. And I realized that the spring was being wound up the wrong way. This is the part where it kind of confused me because, I bought a left wound spring and I thought I had read everything correctly. This is supposed to be the one that goes from when you're looking inside the garage, dead on. Like if you were looking at like the garage door from upwards, it would be the one that's on the right, but it's called a left wound spring. And it was in a left wound spring box. I seem to have bought the right spring and everything, the correct color, the correct size, but for some reason, it didn't look the same when compared to the broken spring. It was winding up from a different side. Also, the other one didn't have a bend in the spring where it was like covering up where the nut would go. So I figured maybe that was a factory defect. I don't know. Maybe I'm screwing something up here. I don't really know, but I feel like I bought the wrong piece at this point, which really screwed me up. I had done the research. I read the diagram at Menards, and I felt really good about this. And I was pretty sure the last time when the other side broke, I bought a right wound spring. I went with my dad to buy a right wound spring. So it would make sense that we would do the opposite now that the other one broke. And for some reason, my memory was defective or something, or I didn't read the diagram correctly. It was really screwing me. So I was really starting to feel like something else was going on. I was like, okay, I feel like I did this correctly. Something's screwing with the universe right now. Something wants me to mess this up for some reason. It's like the universe is tricking me at the moment. Or something. And I gotta get proof of this. So what I did was, I actually went back to Menards with the box with the spring that I thought was incorrect. I went to the garage aisle, I guess. I don't know. I went to grab a different spring, but it was the same box. It was the same left wound spring, same box, same number, same color, same everything. Took my knife, I opened the box in the store just to make sure that it was either the same or different from the spring I bought previously. If it was the same, then I would assume maybe I screwed this all up. Maybe it's not supposed to be a left wound spring and I've been screwing it up all along. I opened up the box for the same product, the same box and everything, for the other, for a different spring that was available at the store, but it was the same one as mine, as the same box that I bought mine in. I opened up the box, and there was literally a different spring in there. It was winding up from the other side. It started from the other side. The correct side. This spring in the store was correct. The one that I bought, which was in the same box, same color, same everything, was wrong. They put the wrong spring in the box. Plus, it had a bend in it, so it was actually defective, but it literally was the wrong spring. And ever since that happened, I've been like, so all these weird screw-ups I've been doing, or I felt like I was doing, where, like I said, those gremlins are out there screwing with things, weird glitches in the Matrix. Not that, like, the universe is against me. I don't feel like I have bad luck. I really don't feel like I have bad luck at all. But I certainly feel like there's maybe some force out there that's trying to make me second-guess myself way too much. And this was a moment of not really second-guessing myself, but more like I felt so confident that I bought the right thing that I felt like the manufacturer was the one that screwed up and not me. And then I go to the store, and what do you know? That's exactly what happened. It's kind of, I guess, eye-opening because it's making me kind of want to approach things differently. It's like, I hate being like that kind of person where it's like, oh, it's a sign from God. It's such a little issue. It's a tiny thing. It would have really sucked if I lived like 40 miles away from Menards like, I used to. But it's right down the road, so it was all good. But I just felt like, how could something so odd and obscure happen to me? I guess I don't know, but I felt like in that moment, I was like, I hate to say this kind of thing. I don't really know if I believe in this kind of thing, but I feel like it's a sign. It's a sign to tell me, like, hey, trust your instincts. Um, trust your gut, and maybe you're not screwing everything up. Anyway, I took a video of comparing them both. Um, the one in the second box is the correct one. The one with the bend in it is the one that's factory. It's defective. It doesn't. It won't work anyway because there's a massive bend in it. Unless someone out there who maybe knows more about garage door materials, maybe they'll say, "Oh, you can actually use that spring if you wanted to." But at least confirm to me that yes, they are two different springs. One is being wound up from the other side. You'll just have to look at the spring itself. One starts going up and one starts going down. So the one with the bend in it is incorrect and was literally in the same box as the other one that happened to be correct. It was one of the weirdest things ever. Sorry for this odd story, but I hope it kind of makes sense to you. And trust your gut.